Algebra 1, Chapter 1, Section 1. We're going to look at evaluating algebraic expressions. This could be anything from just combining like terms, get it to its most simple value as we can, or it might actually be having actual values that we substitute in and getting a answer of 10 or 15 or something to that effect. So let's just start with just some simple I'm going to give you x values. The x value of, let's say, 4, a y value of 6, and let's do two separate examples. Okay, so have given no numerical values. Each one of them has a variable attached to it. So now all we're going to do is substitute in. I will show every step. I would encourage you to do the same. As I walk through and look at your work, it's much easier for me to see if a mistake was made if I can see all of your steps. So we're going to take the first expression, which is 2x minus 8y, and we're going to substitute in x. And we're going to substitute in y. And remember, we have order of operations, so we need to do our multiplication first, And I also might want to substitute in y there, like I said I did, but just didn't write it in correctly. So 2 times 4 minus 8 times 6. So that's going to give us 8 minus 48. And 8 minus 48 is going to give us a total of negative 40. Over here, again, we're going to substitute in. So we've got y squared. That's going to be 6 squared over x minus y, which is going to be 4 minus 6. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which gives me a value of 36. And 4 minus 6 gives me a value of negative 2. Now we need to keep going and reduce that as far as possible, or simplify that as far as possible, whichever word you feel more comfortable with. So we've got 36 divided by negative 2, which is going to give us a final answer of negative 18. Maybe it goes a little further and we do have some negative values. And that's a z. I like to put little lines through my z's. And so let's do a couple more expressions. Let's do an absolute value this time. And then maybe a distributive property problem. So just bumping it up a little step. So let's go to the first one. Let's keep our absolute value brackets. And we're going to go 2 times negative 3 times 6 minus a negative 2. Again, notice I put the minus sign in front of the negative 2 because I am subtracting a negative 2. We'll simplify that in just a moment. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. And on the outside, when I'm subtracting a negative 2, that makes it plus 2. So remembering absolute value is the distance to 0. If this were on a number line, negative 36 is 36 spaces away from 0. So that's going to give me a final expression of 3x plus 2, or 3x of 36 plus 2, with a final answer of 38. My second example, I'm going to substitute in the 6. I have got 2 times negative 3 squared minus 4 times negative 2. So I'm going to work my parentheses first. I'm going to do that exponent. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, which gives me positive 9. and negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. So that gives me 6 times 18 plus 8. That gives me a final expression of 6 times 26, and that gives me a final answer of 156. So substitution and solving. Might see some fractions, still done the same. Might see some square roots. So let's take a look at a square root. Again, probably start off really basic. Let's use A, B, and C this time. And so as I fill these in, I'm going to have the square root of 64 minus a negative 2 plus 12. So the square root of 64 is going to be 8. And then we have minus our negative 2, which is going to be plus 2, and then our plus 12. So we'll make that our final expression, and then 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 12 is 22. So our final answer is 22. Remember that it's a good idea after I put these up here to hit pause, see if you can work through them on your own, and then compare your answer to mine once we get there. And that is Chapter 1, Section 1, Evaluating Algebraic Expressions.